Welcome to Coding with Tom. Last time we added perks to our application. Those perks have a cooldown time. Now we're going to be firing a local notification that will have an action where the user can tap and use the perk directly. Let's create a notification service. This one will be responsible of two things: scheduling local notification and letting us know when the user tapped on an action to use a perk. Now we'll be communicating the fact that a user used a perk with the identifier. This is a string, but we want to be more explicit with our protocol. So for that, we're going to create a type alias for the string. Before scheduling the notification, it is best practice to always check the notification settings of the app, given the fact that the user can change them at any time. So if the settings are not determined, this means that the user has neither allowed nor denied permission. So we're going to ask for permission and then schedule the notification. To schedule a local notification, we need first UN mutable notification content. This is where we are going to define the title and the body of the notification. We'll also add a category identifier. For now, let's leave this blank. Then we need a trigger. We're going to use a time interval trigger. The time interval will be the cooldown time of the perk. And then we just need to create a request using the perk identifier and the content and trigger we just created. Then we add this to the UN user notification center. Our service is ready. So now let's create two use cases, one to retrieve the publisher and the other one to schedule a notification for a perk. We will use this new use case in our use perk use case, since that's when we will schedule a new notification, when the cooldown for a perk starts. Let's try it now. I decrease the cooldown time in the harvest and the smith just so we can see the notifications faster. So here we have our notification. Right now it doesn't have any action. So let's go to the app and do that. Our notification service will be the delegate of the UN User Notification Center so that we know when the user taps on an action. We'll implement, we'll present just so we can show notifications in app. Since the time is so short, we don't have enough time to close the application. And date received, where we're going to check if the user tapped on the action of the notification. To add actions to a notification, we need to register a category. Now, to keep all of this organized, we're going to add the identifiers of the category in the actions in a struct so that we can use them in multiple places without having fear of a typo. Now that we have our constants, let's create the UN notification category. This one has an identifier and an array of actions. We'll not use the intent identifiers or the options. Our action will just have the identifier we just created, a title, and the option will be foreground, meaning that when the user taps on the action, it will bring the app to the foreground. Now in did receive, we'll check the action identifier in the response. If it is the use perk action, we'll communicate the perk identifier through our publisher. Now that our service is ready to detect those tapping on the actions, we need a use case to sync those actions with the model. We will use the identifier in the notification service publisher to get the selected perk and then use the use perk use case. With our sync use case ready, now we just need a place to add it. For this, we can use the app. We'll create a view model for it and execute our use case in the initializer. Let's try running this. Tap on our harvest. There we get our notification. Here's our action. Let's tap on it and it gives us the harvest. And that was all for today. Adding actions to the notifications is just a matter of creating a UN notification category, associating it with an action, and adding the identifier to the notification. Thanks to Combine and our perk source of truth and outcome source of truth being on services, and the only way to access them is through use cases, we didn't have to touch a Swift UI view to complete this exercise. That was all for today. Bye.